Peace, family, peace to you and yours, peace to you and yours. Welcome to another episode of Third Eye Thursdays. All right, before we begin, I want to remind you that this Saturday, the 16th, my brother Blue Pillar 44 is going to be doing the Law of 44, the War Report on Know the Alleged University, KTLUniversity.com, KTLUniversity.com. All right, so make sure y'all tap in and get your tickets for Saturday's lecture with Blue Pillar. Yes, indeed. Peace to the family. Peace to you and yours. Let me know how the audio sounds. Are we good on the audio? Is it crispy? I want to make sure we come in clear. My webcam stopped working, so now I'm going off of the regular camera. You know, so I gotta make sure that my audio is crispy. All right. You said love that intro, right? Funny thing is, I was just looking at the intro. I'm like, yo, I gotta update my intro. You know what I mean? My Patreon is like it has a clip of footage that's like 3 or 4 years old. So yeah, I was saying I need to update it. I need to revamp it. But peace to the family. Greetings to everybody in the building. Welcome to another episode of Third Eye Thursday. This is the late night edition and whatnot. I was gonna start around 8ish, but you know, things were taking place. So here I am. I was getting caught up. I'm gonna keep it 100 too. It's a lot going on. Not really a lot going on, but there's there's distractions that are out there. So I was in rabbit holes today and whatnot. You know what I mean? But yeah, we're gonna have a very powerful episode tonight. I have a special guest that I'm gonna be bringing on. None other than Blue Pillar himself, and he's gonna break down what's gonna be taking place on Saturday. So get your pens and your pads out because you already know how Blue is gonna bring it. But we're gonna touch on some things that are going on right now in the world. You know what I mean? But let's go ahead and do the roll call before we begin and get get everybody situated. But I want to do the roll call. You said crispy but no sound effects. Hold on. Okay, hold on. There we go. Okay, here we go.
To this day.
Appreciate that. Okay, we got the Mondem, all right? The Mondem from across the pond in the UK. Salute. SC in the building, all right? The Low Country, all right? We got Burnsville in the building, Philly in the building, DMV, Sarcosta, Hampton in the building, Corona, California. I see you. Northwest Georgia, Chi-Town in the building. Okay, QB is in the building. Harlem's in the building. Jersey's in the building. Denver. South side of Hampton. Gardena, California's in the building. Cocoa, Florida. QB is in the building. San Fran, Richmond, Delaware, Charlotte. All right. Cincinnati's in the building. San Bernardino, Gainesville, Buffalo, Rough Buff. Salute to y'all. Oh, okay. Hold on, y'all. Shout out to D Retro. Shout out to Dame, yo. This piece right here is Paradise and Hell. Money and hating niggas can never coexist. Right?
To this day.
This drip right here is from Paradise and Hell. I appreciate they sent a nice package to us and whatnot. Jacksonville is in the building. North Carolina's in the building. Salute. Watts in the building. All right. New Orleans is in the building. Asbury Park, New Orleans. North Oakland, Calif in the building. You said that you need that? Yeah, no doubt. Let me I'm gonna get you the website so you can hit it up. But yeah, these are fire right here. These are fire. Yo, D Retro, let me get the website. I'm gonna post it so the family can hit you up and get some of these pieces right here. New Orleans in the building. Salute to New Orleans.
NYC is in the building. Arkansas 404. Chicago 716. All right. That's what's up. You NYC in the building, y'all all right? New Haven, Connecticut. All right. Toledo, Ohio. Toledo, Ohio in the building. Cleveland is up in this thing. You dig? The link for the next workshop is in the description right there. You can find it in the description. It'll take you right to KTL University. You'll see that there's a workshop with Blue Pill on Saturday, and there's also a workshop with Al-Kibalon on the 30th. The illustrious illumination. You know what I mean? He's going back in his bag and whatnot. Back by popular demand. The people demanded it. I was getting a lot of emails. And it was like they was like, yo, bring Al-Kiba along. We need that metaphysics back in our life. It's a lot going on. And they was also asking for Blue Pillar. That's why he's pulling up with this 44 report. You said I look like I've been in the gym. Yeah, I've been in the gym and I'm on Ramadan. So, you know. You said it got more flavor than Palm Angel. Of course it does. You know, we got the cosmic drip. You know, the cosmic drippington. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what we got over here. That sauce. Norfolk. Okay, shout out to Norfolk. The Norfolk family. Yes. I'm gonna wait for Blue Pill to come on. We're gonna talk a little bit about Norfolk. Shout out to Norfolk. All right. Shout out to Virginia. 314, the Lou. Shout out to the Lou. Okay. Philly in the building. Who seen the Kyrie Ramadan flex? Yeah, that went viral. A lot of people saw that. That went viral right there. Shout out to Kyrie Irving. You did. You heard Cambada's new track? Yeah, that's fire. I heard it too. The Burning Monk. Philly in the building. Shout out to Philly, Charlotte. All right, so we got it. You know, the family is here. Salute to everybody. I mean, salute to everybody. You know, like I always say, the affirmation of the day is that everybody is in the best mental health, spiritual health, emotional health, and physical health that you can be in. You know what I mean? If I had my wish, that's what I would put on everybody. So salute to everybody. Welcome to another episode. Like I said, we've been on a hiatus. I like to call it spring break. You know what I mean? I was on spring break. I did some spring cleaning. Took a few weeks off, you know what I'm saying? But now we back. We back in the building, and we have a very powerful presentation coming up in a few days. So I ain't even gonna hold you. I'm gonna go ahead and bring my guest on for the evening. We're gonna get right into it because there's some things that we're gonna chop up tonight. All right. So without any further ado, I want to present to you my brother, your brother, none other than the Blue Pillar, stronger than.
Yes, indeed. Peace to the family. Peace to you and yours. Peace, bro. How you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm busy.
Yes,
Busy.
indeed.
I'm busy. It's a million things going on right now. Um, we are in a perpetual state of war on multiple fronts. This is not me beating the drums of doom and gloom. You feel me? The shit is going down, and I got multiple receipts, and I'm not gonna overextend myself. I'm not doing that. I've been looking through my notes to get this lecture together, and I've seen so many incidents, so many markers that we pre-warned the people about what was to come. You feel me?
Right.
So as busy as I am attempting to get this together and do multiple different things for different people, just to make sure that people is in the right position right now.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna oversell it. You know what I mean? We have an amazing lecture coming on Saturday. I have information that has never been heard before in public, right? Because a lot of this shit is very, very new, right? You got your incidents that are popping off by the day, especially what just took place in NY. And it's like,
Okay.
yeah, we at a point where it's like you can't even show your hand. Like, you got to get this information to the people and get out of the way, and possibly even, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of shit going on right now, and it's almost like one of those dragnet situations where they're monitoring to see who says what based on any given particular situation. Like, would this situation make you react this way, or is it going to be this situation? Right? Because both of them is going to put you in a situation like this.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying?
But
Point.
hold on. It was discovered that Instagram, Facebook, and I believe it was TikTok, right? It was discovered that the algorithm that they designed, actually is setting people up, right? To experience that.
I mean, you could further elaborate and explain that, because I don't, I kind of know what you're talking about, but is that breaking news? Because I didn't see that.
Well, when they had the whistleblower come out on IG
Okay.
and Facebook and whatnot, they were saying that they're designing an algorithm to, steer people in a certain direction.
Well, yeah, negativity was viral,
Right. It
right?
gets rewarded. The
Yeah,
algorithm rewards it.
there's a reward system because what? It garners more data, because
Right.
it has more virility. It's stickier than anything else on the internet. So
Right.
they align themselves with the things that's going to bring them the greatest reward. They reward the things that's going to bring them, you know what I'm saying, the greatest reward. And for them, their reward is data. Their reward is attention and retention.
Right.
You feel me?
And not just
And
data, Blue.
hmm?
It's not just data, it's data that could be proven, right, to be effective, because they're collecting data. And now when they use data to actually utilize predictions and actually be able to predict something that's about to come or hit something right on the head, then they use that as case study and say, look, I got proof of work that this data it could be utilized, for more than just useless data. We could utilize this as an asset.
Yeah, basically, like I said, it's the return, it's their ROI.
Right.
You're being rewarded, or giving fractional payments for you making, giving you pennies to help me make $1. And the thing on the internet that makes them dollars is negativity.
Right.
But it's the same thing in, as goes media, goes social media. So in media, if it bleeds, it leads, right? So what's the difference?
Right.
Ain't no difference. They're just exploiting the psychology of people, period.
Right.
Right? It's just like, yeah, in traffic, you're gonna stop to see the car burning. Niggas could be on the side of the highway getting married. You ain't stopping for that.
Right. You're gonna
Right?
stop for the
It's not
fire though.
sticky enough. Yeah.
Mm.
So I mean, it's again, social media, and these different apps and everything, as you've said plenty of times, they were developed by neurologists and people that study human psychology, and now they're
It's like
exploiting it.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, um, yeah. So again, my apologies. I would do a lot better if you asked me some questions, and I can flow with that.
No problem. Let's touch on the obvious. Let's get right to it and speak about the incident that took place in Brooklyn with the
I want to talk about that.
shooting
I don't want to talk
on.
about that. I'll talk about it in my lecture. I'm gonna talk about it one time, and I ain't gonna talk about it again. And I will recommend that you be very careful of how you talk about it. Trust
Oh,
me.
definitely, definitely. You know what I mean? What I would, if I were to talk about it, what I would say is I already see a spin that's taking place because the first thing I said was I want to see what Homeboy's YouTube history is. Who's he subscribed to? That's what I was thinking about. And I got that answer today. So just based off of that, yeah, I'm good on that.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's called dragnets.
Of course. That's
Right?
what I'm saying. It's data collection.
And
They situations like
then they dropped the shooting footage, right? So this is all data mining, right? People getting
yeah.
online, getting flamed up in every season, bumping their gums about what they're not gonna do, right? And falling right into these digital dragnets. And I'm like, if you see what I seen,
But yeah. And what I'm also seeing is there's an archetype that's being criminalized in that situation. You know, he was on you. He was they. You know, they're saying he was having rants on. He had a 5-minute rant. He was on this, and then when I see the clips that they're uploading, I'm like, yeah, okay. That sounds like a majority of black men that be on the MTA trains in New York. You know, when they you know, like dudes that be rapping out the music that they listening to out loud on the train, or they be having rants about
I will
different.
say this, yeah, I will say this though, you know, because we've been pinpoint on our conversation and our observation of the situation. So when the Will Smith incident happened, right, I went on numerous platforms and I was talking about mental health, right? And I said, once again, what you're about to see, right, unapologetically, is the deterioration in public and the meltdown of melanated men in particular who cannot deal with mental pressure.
Right.
No longer did I say that, then Will Smith said, what? I'm committing myself to a high-end healing facility for mental stress.
Right.
Not only did I say that we're watching our brothers suffer from mental stress, I was utilizing the word high-end healing. I never heard it before. I Googled it. It was $4,000 for the website.
It's worth it.
So with this situation and with many other situations that we're looking at, you know, there was a situation in the community that we've been vocal about. An individual who has been displaying mental health issues and you know, falling under the description as a leader, you know,
Right.
and quote unquote, you know, leaders in this community, the whole community gets pegged in whatever activity the quote unquote leadership in this community engage in. Right?
Ain't that right?
Yeah. Well, melanated men in particular, but specifically in this community, right?
Right.
Because a single white male who goes on a killing spree, right? That activity is never married to the collective, right? White men are never pegged and tagged with the activity of an individual amongst their group, whether he's a mass murderer, whether he's a pedophile. Oh, you
Right.
pegging as a pedophile. That's a whole nother conversation.
Right. They don't peg the whole group.
They don't peg the whole group.
They weren't there.
Right? They don't peg the whole group. But when it comes to melanated men, that's exactly what they do. They peg them for the inappropriate activities or what have you, but we never get pegged to say, damn, if Michael Jackson can you know what I'm saying, perform at the aptitude that he does, or if Michael Jordan can jump from the half court line or the free throw line,
Right.
that's not, you know, the accomplishments of melanated men is not something that we can celebrate and enjoy peg with individually as a collective, But the mishaps of melanated men is something that we all have to wear. So you all became Will Smith overnight when he went from the hero to the anti-hero, right?
Right.
But you all didn't save the world with him when he was I Am Legend. Or, you know, MIB or iRobot or, you know, Wild Wild West. Anybody
He
seen this?
became the anti-hero in Hancock.
Yeah,
Remember that role?
he introduced, because that was probably the first anti-hero superhero that I recall seeing. Right?
Like in a movie that was budgeted like that.
Especially, yeah, a movie that was budgeted like that. Even though I used to say that I felt like Blade was somewhat of an anti-hero.
Blade was hold on. Blade is let's correct that. Blade is the one of the first anti-heroes, which is also one of the first Marvel movies that actually saved the company and pushed them into this golden age or golden era that they came into. But yeah, Blade would be more so that.
Yes. So, you know, we're observing all of these things. We're observing, once again, it's worth noting, um, a time, an unprecedented time where the majority of melanated men that we see on TV are all anti-heroes. Our heroes are now anti-heroes.
Yes, we're in that era.
Right? And it really was popularized and started with Killmonger, and it never stopped. Okay? It never stopped.
You saying that it peaked with Killmonger or it started?
I'm saying it was recognizably started.
Right.
Because we identified the fact that we could look at Blade and say Blade was an anti-hero. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think the majority of people caught on. That wasn't even a word then. You know, we understood, but I don't think that might have went over people's head, right? But we had that conversation at the time when when Killmonger came on the scene, because people was like, am I supposed to like the bad guy
Or the good guy?
or the good guy? And we're like, who told, what's the difference? How you know?
Right.
This nigga's working with the CIA. Maybe he's the bad guy.
Right. It was objective.
Right? Perspective, yeah.
It was all about perspective in that.
And yeah, so that conversation ensued in public and people addressed it like it was real. Right? Like, well, he was a revolutionary, but you know, what was that gonna look like if he got the weapons? Because eventually they're gonna start shooting each other.
But Blue, I want to add on to what you're saying, and I want to interject and say that we've been, they've been planting the seeds of the anti-hero through, TV shows with us and movies.
Oh, yeah, Bishop, my nigga, that was the first anti-hero. If you want to keep it real, for the culture.
For the culture.
For the culture.
Yeah, definitely for the culture.
Right?
But Boys in the Hood came before that, though, right? Doughboy was the anti-hero. Boys in the Hood. Wait, did Boys in the Hood come before Juice? Yeah. Because it's Boys in the Hood, then it's Juice, then it's Menace, I think.
Somebody could Google that for you. But
put your Googles on. Look, man, the A-Team was about anti-heroes, bro. The A-Team, B.A. Baracus, Hannibal. That was that. No, what? These niggas was on the run.
Yeah, that made them anti-heroes. Who was they banging against?
The government. What is you talking about? They was come go and do your. Come on, man. I'm gonna send you the A-Team detention. Go on 18 Telegram or something, B. You got.
I remember that, but it's like
banging on the government.
We wear it like that, like, oh, they banging on the government. I want to grow up and do that.
The Dukes of Hazzard.
They had bad elements in all of those things that they was banging on. From what I remember. I'm just
saying that I'm giving you the build up to the anti-hero motif that we have now, this archetype, because to be honest with you, the rappers, hip hop is the true anti-hero archetype. That's the river right there. But I'm saying that those rappers They
Yeah.
grew up rooting for the anti-hero in the cartoons. They like Destro, Cobra Commander. You know what I'm talking about? Megatron and the Decepticons. When we was even playing video games, niggas was rooting for King Koopa. What happened? The anti-hero motif has been with us. That some niggas rock with Set, and you know what I mean?
That's a
Like,
fact. That's a fact. You know what I'm saying?
Face, Murdoch, B.A. Baracus, Hannibal. Then the comic books steered us in the direction of the
Oh yeah.
anti-hero. I remember falling in love with Venom
Yeah. We fell in
and
love with
Carnage.
Venom. We fell in love with Superman from the Bizarro world as well. He was
Yep.
the anti-hero. We had more fun, you know,
Dark Side from DC.
uh-huh.
You know, the way that they Galacticus, the way they was pinning some of these villains, bro.
Look,
Like
Thanos. Bane.
Bane, facts.
Nigga. Yeah.
Facts. Spawn was the
Spawn.
anti-hero.
All right. So, again, in a world like this, where you can't possibly be the hero, the hero, that should be a question. Is it more fitting or befitting for us to be the anti-hero in the world that always paints us as the villain anyway?
Punisher.
This is a fact.
Punisher comics, bro. The shit this Frank Castle was doing.
Facts. Punisher was a straight up anti-hero.
Frank Miller, Batman, I believe. When Batman went dark, that shit was crazy. But then when Punisher came in,
Yeah, Punisher changed the game unapologetically.
so we've always been on the edge. Our influences have always been that of the undergirdings of, the underbelly of society and whatnot, that dark energy or that chaos magic that people speak of, it's more lit over there.
Mm-hmm.
The Predator, they was giving us Predator versus Alien. Like, Jason. Niggas was mad when Jason died. He done chopped up the whole you know what I'm talking about? The whole Camp Crystal Lake, you know what I'm saying? It was all of these preppy Europeans. They had lives ahead of them, you know what I mean? They had all of this future ahead of them. He out here impaling them. And then when he get hurt, we like, damn, why they did that to
Yeah,
Jason?
and I said something. I said something on the show. I said something on Brother Rich show last time I was on, and it might have went over people's head,
Yeah.
But I'll repeat it here, and we could think about that, during the time that we were being acculturated, right? So, what is the definition of acculturation? When you're introduced to somebody's culture, how does that happen? Through shit like integration, right? You become acculturated into somebody else's culture. And I was thinking about this when I was looking at a spoof on TV, and I had seen a white woman in distress. You feel me?
Right. It fucked you
up. I felt a certain way about it, and I had to catch myself.
Yeah.
And I said, what the fuck is this? Right? And I realized that from the time that we were children, Hollywood made us emotional and feel a way when white women were in distress in horror films, right? Because of the music.
Programming. Yes.
Right? We were programmed, right? To feel like her life was worthy of us getting feelings over it. But they just killed the black woman. She ain't had no music or nothing. It was like, ooh,
yeah, you hear the stabbings, like,
yeah, you hear the thud. And she just a casualty.
Black women. Yeah, they didn't give her no soundtrack.
She's just a casualty. And we seem to overstep that and overlook it. and just keep it moving, because she is dehumanized, and she's not looked at as somebody who's worthy of our care, our hearts, our what I mean, like she's not somebody that's worthy of us being emotional over. And that's something that has been programmed into us, that you know we all have to combat that programming on every level. It's an acculturation program, the way that we were introduced to, and we were told by society what's important, what's not, what we should be in our feelings about versus what isn't. Yeah, and they coming through, with the anti-heroes. I see the posts, Godzilla, yeah, Ice Cube, America's, all that. You
Through the
feel me?
music first, and then on film. You know,
Yeah.
Wick.
Yeah, I haven't seen a John Wick episode yet, so
Yeah, you.
is anti-hero?
Yes, it's binge worthy. We're gonna set you up right. A
Yeah,
home
yeah.
theater or something. We're gonna set you up, give you the whole John Wick experience.
Yeah, I would need that. You know what I'm saying? I would need the whole John Wick experience.
And the
But
brother
yeah,
said, "Will the black exploitation movies count as anti-hero?"
yeah, go in your
Yes.
bag. Yeah, you can
To this
talk.
day. To this day.
That's the father. That's the found. That would be once
Yeah,
again. That
yeah,
would be
go in your bag. Go ahead. I know you're waiting.
yes. Before hip hop, it was verbal and visual at the same time. One of the reasons why some of the the verbals came to life and had a vision to it before the video came was based off of the fact that it was attached to an audio visual representation that was already put on the big screen, and that was those black exploitation movies. That was flexing on a billion, my nigga, at that time. At that time, because keep in mind, when we did the show, the Think Champs, the other day, I forgot to mention that in my research, 1970, the 70s, that decade is really on record the only decade that we could say our people were really kind of free.
You gotta expound on that. I mean, I'm interested to hear where you're going with it.
1960, allegedly from 1960, when legislation started to come in onward, backwards, I mean, going all the way back to when they say that we got here, according to their rendition of our story, we was under the bull and the whip and the motherfucking chain. If you let them tell our story, from the minute we got here, we was getting, oh, come here, you know what I mean? They was working us. You feel me? Up into the 60s, when we were able to integrate into society and then into the world to take our places amongst, the nations of men, right? So from that time in the 60s, going into the 70s, and then in the 80s, we were hit with crack cocaine and a few other things that I would say with the rise in the prisons. That's when things really took another turn for whatever it was worth. But at that period in the 70s, when that stretch in the 70s was a time that I can identify our people being in a state of freedom and in a state of happiness and in love, right? That they were experiencing life, and they were experiencing what life had to offer, and they were experiencing the fact that they were more than what they were told that they were. That's the time that our people really started to take off. Sun Ra, Parliament, you know what I mean? They were experimenting with what is known as magic mushrooms or psychedelics. Not saying that they weren't doing that before, but keep in mind, this was the time that even the Europeans started to see in color. They went from wearing that black and white that you see them traditionally wearing throughout all of those times, everybody looking the same and whatnot, and then they become the flower children. They become colorful. You get color TV. You know what I mean? The pictures in the Jet
So
magazine and in the essence of the beauty that our people had in the 70s is almost unparalleled.
Right. So when did melanated people experience their sexual revolution?
In the 60s,
Oh yeah, how?
through the music, I believe, and the culture. And then there was an integration that was taking place, and that really blew it up. You know,
I don't think black people have ever experienced it. I think that that's why we have all of the issues that we have right now.
okay, talk about it.
I just did.
Right.
As evidence, again, what's the you identifying what it looked like on Europeans, when they broke free, they were able to scream and, express themselves and be free, if you will, because they were really counterculture. Um, when did melanated people experience that per
I would
se?
say in the late 60s, there was a sexual revolution, you know what I mean? And then going into the
What does it
70s,
look like? If we can identify, I'm like, what does it look like? When did that happen?
what does it look like? It looks like this. Hey, sister, is somebody sitting there? Yeah, let me pull up a chair. How you doing? My name is Orange Juice Rufus. And I can't help but notice that, that dress that you wearing, you know what I mean? And then it went like that. Hey, sugar. You know what I'm talking about? That's how I went.
That ain't it. Compared to what psychedelics and freedom movements and liberation and totally letting your hair down and letting your letting it what I'm saying, that don't
Letting it all
compare to
down.
that don't compare to that. um and I utilize that question and that example to say, you know we segue into a situation where there has been, because of sexual suppression and all of these ways that has been painted, sexuality in our community period has been painted. You get this unprecedented amount of people who have been abused,
Right.
right? And you can say that that's pretty much dealing with some level of sexual suppression, right? And
Right.
then it starts expressing itself in ways in which society might not necessarily be familiar with. I'm not going to say be befitting with, because that's the whole point of having a culture revolution, right? That's the whole point of being counterculture. The society is not supposed to feel okay or comfortable with it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's supposed to make them feel uncomfortable because they're
Uncomfortable. Right.
rebelling, right?
Correct.
So I would dare ask us that to just explore as a people, because it has to be. It's not something that's gonna implore people externally. You know what I'm saying? To go through a revolution, it has to be something introduced to them on an internal level that brings about some things to kind of express that they're doing something different, as opposed to what they was told in the church, because we know how that looks.
Right.
That's very identifiable. You feel me?
Oh, for sure. So would you say that what we experienced in 2020 could be considered the beginning of the sexual revolution, or this quote unquote sexual liberation that the Europeans have already experienced?
You talking about what, like melanated people coming towards psychedelics?
No, I'm talking about the fact that when I would identify it with the release of the song WAP in the summer of 2020, the same time that Brooklyn drill and whatnot started to take off, and then Bronx drill. Summer of 2020 during the George Floyd protests with Black Lives and Matter. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, once again, when you suppress a society or a population, there's only one or two things that's going to happen when you open the gates, right? They're going to burst out and look for sex, right? They're gonna socialize, and the socialization is normally gonna lead to them wanting to engage, right? Because we're social creatures, and our
Right.
social proclivities are all based on mating rituals that we engage in, whether we're conscious of them or not.
Right.
So either that's gonna happen, right? Niggas gonna bust out the crib, horny,
Right.
right? Or what you're seeing, like with the smash and grabs, the high violence, right? All Aries energy, whether they're gonna bust out with the Scorpionic Aries energy to, to copulate around the spring summertime, right? Or they're going to burst out of their cage and want to rage. You feel me? Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, somebody made it. OnlyFans exploded in 2020.
But yeah, only
2020,
Look, but
right?
somebody asked this question, Blue. Hold on. What about Freaknik in Atlanta in the 90s? Going back to what I'm saying about what we experienced in 2020, right? Not to say that that's equivalent to Freaknik or anything, but where we're at now in 2022, we can measure that there's somewhat of an uptick in what could be identified as sexual liberation, not in the same vein, or not in the same quote unquote. I wouldn't say it's in the same vein of the 1960s cultural revolution with the Europeans and whatnot, but
Yeah, I was speaking about that the other day, because I was explaining and expressing to somebody that I was here for that. I experienced it,
right,
and everybody's stories is the same. You know what I'm saying? It absolutely had to be an expression of some suppressed sexuality, because we kind of never seen it jumping off like that. You feel me? It was popping off on I-20 in traffic, nigga. Like from whip to whip. You feel me?
now it was
So,
going down.
huh?
It was going down.
It was going down. And
I used to go to the Greek fests.
yeah, again, I'm like, oh, they got black folks, melanated folks. Moors, calm down. You don't want this label right now. Just chill. It's like, damn, they got black folk. I was seeing plates from places that I didn't know that they had melanated people at,
Right.
let alone melanated race. So I'm just like, it was going down. And it was very liberating, because people really seemed to not give a fuck at all.
Right.
Right. And it was relatively peaceful, you know, which goes to say, like, when everybody is enjoying themselves and getting them some, there's not a lot of violence.
Yeah, when it's, you know what I mean?
You know what I mean? But the dudes who you be seeing going on, who snap,
Right.
not 9 out of 10, those people are normally sexually suppressed. I guess with the exception of Ted Bundy, right? Because people would be, shorties would be like, oh, he could get it. I'm like, the nigga's a mass murderer. Like,
Right.
could you look at it different?
I mean, like you said, 8 out of 10 of them are sexually depressed or suppressed. He might be the 2% that was getting some Whoppington, you know what I mean? And he didn't
Right.
fall in that category. But after he bone you, he might kill you.
That part, right? So, you know, and some people will be willing to sign up and gamble with their life for that level of excitement. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, the propensity and the push towards sex will make you do some amazing things. You know, so we're looking at things in society that are unidentifiable to some people, because there's a lot going on. You feel me? But I promise you, I'm gonna make some connections on Saturday. I'm gonna ease up some of the pressure by making some clear delineations, and then the people are left to do what they will with the information once they have it, because it's heavy. It's heavy. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting thought just came to me, Blue. And it was like, you know, sex is magic, right? And a lot of sex is a lot of magic, and sex is also creation. So if people gather over weekends and sometimes during weeks, like how we would link up for, you know, when we would go for Super Bowls and All-Star weekend, it was a lot of sex taking place. You know what I mean? Sex was in the air. It was heavily charged. It was very magnetic. You know what I'm talking about? Like it just was going down, but not to the extent of a sex ritual like a Freaknik, because even Greek Fest was somewhat of a primer, but in terms of the, you know, the hierarchy of these orgies or these festival or these sexcapades, I would say that the Freaknik was, you know, that was it, right? So is it of any, you know, is it of, you know what I mean? Like, is it of any coincidence that afterwards, you know, those areas begin to attract a lot of quote unquote currency and, you know, wealth and things of that nature?
You know, I was speaking about this earlier, in reference to King of Diamonds and the King of Diamonds coin, and
Right,
I was speaking to, you know, some friends of mine who are investors, and you know, even some people who are part of the lethargy, right?
right.
And they didn't have any qualms about said investment, because they understood. They said, look, you know,
That's what's going to sell a coin.
yeah, regardless of if I'm in my Bible, regardless if I'm on the pulpit, regardless if I'm in this community as quote unquote leadership, you know, what they said that they understood, in which all people should understood, is that the only creative power, or the strongest, the highest level of creative power, is sex, is sexual energy. You know what
Right,
I'm saying? You cannot really manifest or create anything without it. It is creation, right? It
right,
is creative energy. And just like you have been endowed with free will, you also have the free will to yield and use that energy as you so choose. Now, there's going to be different people that want to interfere and tell you what's going to happen and what you should and shouldn't be doing with that energy. But again, you have a cachet of free will that entails you to do as thou wilt, right? As you see, based on what your perspective is and your whatever mental mooring that you are moving through this world with, right?
right,
I'm not responsible for your thought process or even what you do. You know what I mean? What I can help you do is share, you know, some pointers or some tips to help direct you to make better decisions, because the more information that you have, the more informed your decisions will be. And that's the only possible interference that we have in one another's life, to say, I'm giving you something that's going to lessen, right, your probability for error. If I can do that for you, I've done everything that I can possibly do for you, because
right,
everything else is on you. You feel me?
right,
Everything else is on you. So we all going to show up and look at these things differently, right? But I've seen with sexual energy in a place like Atlanta as a case study, right? I've been able to see it on both ends. I'm like, okay, this is a feminine grid on the 33rd parallel line, right? Dominated and populated by red clay,
yeah,
which is iron, and the atomic lettering for iron, or the prefix for it, is Fe. The
FE,
atomic number for it is 26,
right.
right? Which also happens to be the number of God.
Hold
Or in religion, what they call the tetragrammaton. But those prefixes of the atomic lettering of iron is Fe, which is the prefix of female and feminine,
on. Facts.
right? But it's connected to a planet called Mars that has a masculine disposition, because we understand Mars to be the warrior, right? And it's assertive. Mars is energy. It's like the first letter in Hebrew, which is Aleph, which is the ox, right? That is that gorging energy that wants to put its energy somewhere, insert itself, right?
Right,
So we have to, in our own mental capacity, figure out how to balance out our understanding of energies, because everything, when we say that it has, when we make gender distinctions, it always don't fall to a gender designation. So just because we say something is masculine and feminine don't mean it's male and female.
Right.
You feel me?
Yep.
So again, saying all that to say that anybody who's observant enough, they know what type of energy moves a grid like Atlanta. And its sexual energy is primarily sexual energy, feminine, divine feminine sexual energy,
Divine.
right? And there's spectrums of divine feminine energy, but
Right.
no energy is undivine when it comes to the female or feminine aspects. It's just spectrum. It's just, it's a sliding scale, if you will, but it's all divine, right? Because she's never not who she is. She never not has access. You know what I'm saying? She never not has, her particular apparatus to make her who and what she is. So we can't come along and say, because we don't like how she's utilizing that she's not divine.
Right.
Right. So again, and even like the metaphorical part of it, where a lot of what civil rights has done in this city in particular has pushed this city forward to now it's the leading city, right? But people don't like how civil rights activists went about doing whatever they did, because it was considered passive, it was considered pussy,
Right.
it was considered more of a feminine approach than
Then
you know
war.
that hard body, we're gonna confront these devils, where it ain't
Right.
been one punch thrown yet to this day.
Hold on.
To this day. To this day.
What you niggas been waiting on? Because MLK been dead 55 plus years. When you gonna throw the first punch that you keep saying is gonna knock this cracker out to bring us into this rep? So who's pussy?
Hold on. What would Miami be without the women and the sexual energy? What would Vegas be without the sexual energy? What would Atlanta be without the sexual energy?
Right. So I never really look at it as a situation of imbalance, quote unquote, feminine energy, as much as I say maybe the men gotta look at themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because again, if you arrange it into an energetic energy dynamic, they say that she's the moon and you the sun. So, right, she's a reflection, and she's looking to position herself to a degree where she can be chosen, so she can choose, right?
Right.
Because you got to go through this whole illusionary dance when ultimately she's the one that does the choosing. She just has to put herself in proximity to be ignited so she can do the choosing.
Facts.
So it's like we might see her do goofy shit that we don't agree with, but then you got to ask yourself, well, where did she get that from? Because she's following the leader. If you niggas is going to Brazil and looking at Latin porn, then now she's going to Brazil to get a butt lift to look more like a Brazilian. Cause she like, hi, look at me, I'm right here. You niggas is going 3,000 miles away. How sway?
Yeah. They can't. They helping flights get canceled. Dudes is like, you know what? Let's spend that money in the Bronx. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
So
Like,
I think the quagmire comes into, again, post hip hop, post 1980s, right? There hasn't been an emphasis or a conversation on family building, on longevity, on getting married. The last Get Married song we had was from Jagged Edge,
right. That's a Dubbington.
right? So it's like, are we in a culture? Are we even taking control of the narrative that becomes the programming, right? That these young women are now being, again, acculturated to as you, because they catching it from the baby seat, from the car seat.
Right.
Right? They catching the bars from the car seat and coming up. And they only know what you telling them, right? And they only know what you showing them.
Going back to what I was
You feel me?
you.
And then there are those that do have a mind of their own, and they get castigated in society when niggas is like, oh, look, they doing their own shit.
So going back
They
to what I was,
anime and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? They getting married to Pikachu.
Pokemon. Yeah. So what I was asking you was, is signs of a counter revolution? Is this the signs of it that we see now, where the babies start? You know what I mean? Are we in the throes of a sexual liberation or a revolution akin to what we saw in the 60s?
Yeah, a version of it. You know what I'm saying? Because cosmically, you know, we see a lot of pointers and indicators on the planet, you know what I'm saying, that is definitely going to shift into more of a feminine perspective, you know. So I think that, yeah, you know, even what we're looking at, even, you know, on a more subtler level, when you look at the vice president, when you look at the Supreme Court, you know, nominees, these are just them aligning or getting in line with the energy to say, oh, look, I'm on the right side of history.
Right.
You know, when these things are already cosmically happening and taking place. We did numerous episodes on it on Brother Rich. Shout out to Brother Rich.
Brother
The Big
Rich.
Mama energy. Look, Sister Myra did an episode. Me and Will I Am did an episode. And then
Right.
Rod Hayes did an episode. You feel me? And it wasn't planned like that. And it all happened during the same time. We all had a message that was very similar, and none of us had been in contact with one another. Right? But we all were speaking about being intuitive enough to get the downloads from the cosmos and translate them. And these were, again, very unique approaches to conversing with people and warning them, for the lack of a better term, that that this time is upon us. The shift is happening. And as I sit here today, you feel me, shooken the fuck up by the shifts that are taking place. And that shook because I'm like, yo, I'm not in good positioning. It just shook because it's like, this shit is shifting. Right? Like you cannot be in denial of that anymore, especially if you are energy sensitive. Right? This thing is shifting, it's shaking up.
Yeah, it's shaking.
It's busting.
It's moving.
Right? It's busting. So again, we got to ask ourselves, you know, what position can we take? Because the people with the less amount of power want to be the biggest pundits on change. And it's like, do the serenity prayer, my nigga, and just let it go, right? Be responsible for the shit that you can change and let go of the other shit, because that is becoming an unnecessary weight in your life. And it's going to boggle you down.
Right.
Right? It's going to hold you back and it's going to boggle you down. And you're not going to make it to the promised land. You feel me? Because you can't make that hike with all of that baggage, all of that luggage. And it's like, yo, like, what do people want? You feel me? What do they want? And if you're somebody in the community that has been tasked with quote unquote leadership, make sure that you know from your constituents, from your flock, what do they want? What do they want? So you can be more effective in what you do as leadership, quote unquote. So that people can't be waiting to put pins in your voodoo doll when you get caught up in something, and they're ready to start poking.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No, that's a fact.
Yeah, the real shift, more important than any sex revolution, is the soul and spiritual. You can't talk spirit without sex coming out. Right? I'm trying to hug trees with you, niggas. Stop it. Stop separating them. What is soul? What is spirituality without sexuality? How did you get here? You feel me?
It's
And you
one and
have
one.
no inner proclivities, or like there's nothing that compels you to make a connection. Now, I'm not saying jump into something. I'm not saying be irresponsible with how you pair your energies with other beings. All I'm saying is a lot of people are so frustrated in their inability to find a sexual partner, they're retreating into tree hugging and counting flower petals, and they're like, that's all I want to do. You're not being real with yourself, right? I'm meeting too many women in Atlanta who are wearing the coat or the cape of abstinence, but they can't really find a dude that's disqualified. And it's like, all right, that is at the result of the lack of character building in this community. Again, because the conscious community is heavy devy on the masculine side, hence the fact that it's called the conscious community, right? That once again, it denotes masculine energy that does not necessarily translate to male slash female per se, but there's no platform, there's no pretty much station, there's no preference, if you will, for people to be like, oh, I just, I want to listen to these sisters all day. You know what I'm saying? Let me hear it. It don't exist.
I think if I could add my 2 cents that if it was labeled this, if they had a portion, it was the subconscious community, because in, like you said, because of the fact that just the
The
conscious
connotation,
community is male, huh?
the connotation, if they say words are worlds,
Right,
right?
right,
If they say words are worlds, then you created a world that is primarily catered towards the interests of men in it,
right.
who, and these men are like, okay, my woman is over here. Do
But
two or three of them,
right,
right?
conscious is masculine, subconscious is feminine, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying words have power. So even identifying the conscious
Right.
community,
And yeah, let's prove it. Masculine and feminine, right and left brain,
right,
right? So which brain is the masculine brain? It's the left brain,
right,
right? Analytical, logical.
logical,
I need primary sources,
right,
right? Where did you read that at, nigga?
right.
Right? Whereas left brain, which is
Intuition.
feminine, is what? Nigga, I downloaded this. What you talking
Yeah,
about?
I dreamt this.
Yeah, I had a dream, nigga. I was
Talking
daydreaming.
about.
I was taking some shrooms and shit.
Right,
Walking through the forest. You know what I'm saying? I was painting. I was doing painting sips.
right. I was on my cycle. You know, I was in a cereal bowl. It came to me.
Right? And look, to the credit, I'll even go ahead. Fuck it. To the credit of the young dudes that came into the community post, I ain't gonna name no names, but let's say post 2016, right?
Yeah,
What was their diatribe, right? These niggas said, I don't read books, I get downloads.
right.
Right? Niggas was like,
But
that shit
now,
sound very similar to some shit Dr. York wrote, though. And they like, nah, son, I'm astral planing and traveling and I'm getting downloads. And niggas laughed at that. Right? Because it was very feminine at a time when people were attempting to establish this alpha presence in the conscious community, and all of the piss tests were going on.
that was pure testosterone based, showboating, hyper masculinity mixed with, beta male energy, mixed with some other things. You feel me? But it was, it was showboating and chest puffing in certain situations, what that really was doing, what was happening simultaneously was the rise of the attention economy, or the rise of social media, and the rise of wanting to go viral. Like, remember, this is the beginning of this phenomenon. Having having an impression, or having 1 million people see you, 10 million, 100 million. Then what did that begin to do in terms of the direction that individuals begin to quickly shift into? You know, so once that happened, how can a woman even have a place? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what part does she play? Unless it's helping to get more views or something. But now now everybody is, against each other, or everybody is somewhat in competition, or everybody is, either they're gonna either they're gonna sabotage you, or they're gonna work with you and get something done and help you out. And that part of helping you out is very rare in these spaces.
Right.
So,
And then there's a phenomenon of collaboration in the disguise of competition.
facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
People have come around and they know the trigger, the catchwords, and they know how
Right.
to appeal to your sensibilities and say, yeah, we coming around to collaborate. And they competing
Right.
all the while.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So there's so many dynamics to go into play. But let me get back to Atlanta.
Yes.
There was an integral part that was played here by civil rights and strippers, my nigga. So if you are adverse to any one of those two things, and the roles and the positions that they play, right? Because it's like, okay, you want to say that the divine masculine wouldn't be civil rights. All right. You want to say that the divine feminine wouldn't be a stripper. Right.
Right.
But what you consider to be the lowest rungs of our collectivized society, these were the people responsible for creating a reality that now, a lot of people are getting to tap in and enjoy. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, all right, if you feel like that, give it back, because you're not honoring the true energy, the essence of the energy that's here, or the people who make shit move. So it's like, if you fail to realize how to work with them, can you ever really work this grid? Or is this shit just another setup waiting to happen?
Mm.
Because the more and more I see younger people as well coming to the A, and they're looking for things that don't yet exist here, I see them falling into traps. I see them falling into black holes, if you will. You
Right.
know what I mean? And their narratives seem to end up a little worse than somebody that says, damn, I came here, to go to school and I ended up stripping. Like, a lot of the people got success stories attached to the end of them. That's more of a realistic trajectory for somebody to come up than it is the quicksand and the pitfalls that people are falling into, coming in here to find consciousness that's never been equally yoked, right? There's not enough divine masculinity here to uphold the divine feminine, right?
Mm.
And support it. Because again, I've been asking people,
To this day,
if
to
you
this
consider
day.
yourself alpha, right, and you're only prescribed to what you understand to be the traditional roles, can you find yourself coming here and playing a supporting role to somebody who got it more popping than you do? Right? Think about the hustlers that came here, right? And you was around that. Them niggas went to the clubs. Did they try to outdo the strippers? Or did they fall back, play a supporting role, and let her open the doors that only she got access to?
Yeah, they played the role.
They played the role, and they benefited immensely from it.
But yeah, niggas was spreading their peacock feathers though, and that's where the that's where making it rain and all of that came from as a result. They was playing a supportive role, but it got to a point where niggas had to show they what I mean, they had to show who they was. Because you there for, there's the main reason that you there is to throw some money. There's other reasons that we could talk about, but the main reason at that occupation is once you get in there, you know what I'm talking about? You are going to be spreading love the Brooklyn way.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. I'm just saying, like, and this is why I used to overemphasize traveling. You know what I mean? I used to be
Yeah.
like, you got to get outside. You gotta
And you
move
was big
around
on
and
that.
see, huh?
I said you was big on that. You came to Atlanta before I did.
I didn't. I came to Atlanta after you did. You know, don't do that.
No, I'm talking about when you came for the when you were in AA was at the whatchamacallit.
Oh,
I
for
hadn't got
Freaknik?
to Atlanta yet. Yeah, for
Oh
Freaknik, I
yeah,
hadn't
yeah,
gotten down here yet.
yeah. We beat you to that. Yeah,
Yeah. I made up for it though.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did. But yeah, I mean, after the fact, just moving and getting around and really getting to see some things, you know what I'm saying, and understanding the way that different places operate. And you can't treat every grid the same because it ain't. It's specific and it will show you how it's different than other grids, but you gotta be in it. You know what I'm saying? It's an ecosystem, it's an environment. You have to be in the environment
Right.
to know whether whether it works for you, how it works for you, how it don't, what you gotta do to slightly adjust so you can, you know what I'm saying, make sure that you are working with the grid and not working against it. Because how many places you go where people like, yo, that city spit people out? Nigga, Atlanta's a city that spits people out.
Oh man.
It's a wop. This shit would be like, right?
It be swallowing them. Swallowing Gilly. This is they got sinkholes out here.
They got sinkholes
They
out
got
here.
bear traps in this forest, y'all. I promise you. Stankonia.
You know? So, it's not always pretty. Um, it's not always pretty. You feel me? It's not always pretty, but it is what it is. And things gonna be different. We tapped in, we got a good contingency of family down here. You know what I mean? And yeah, y'all was about to lose me, but I got to change of heart. I made a different decision the other day, and I'm gonna be around. I'm be around a little while long. I got some things that I need to do here that's not quite yet done. So, before I go west, yeah,
To this day. To this day.
I'm gonna honor the fact that I put a call out for y'all. You know what I'm saying? And I can't ignore the fact that I'm seeing a lot of my good family, my good brothers honoring the call, and pulling up. You know what I'm saying? So I think that we got some monumental things to do collectively here, and it's really about honoring this grid. And this grid is feminine. You know what I'm saying? So you got to honor the divine feminine principle that's here. My mom is here. You know, that's the way that we primarily, we honor it first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? We at least made sure that we was in the same building as her. And we have so many women down here that we work with closely, that we edify the divinity and their femininity. And, if you don't do that, you can't be around. You know what I'm saying? We protect them as they deserve, because that's what you got to offer, man. Safety and security. Let her work her magic, nigga. Sit back, get you a drink, and watch that shit. So, you know, you don't got to do much other than be yourself. It should be inviting. You niggas should be down here in droves, but make sure that you do the shadow work. Make sure that you do the necessary, you know, character development that's necessary for you to carry this shit the way that you're supposed to. And we're gonna talk. You know, the lecture is gonna speak about, you know, how to find peace in a state of war. This is the time of war, but it's beautiful, especially during this month of Aries, because we got 2 new moons here, which means it's twice as much power and ability to do the shadow work, the necessary shadow work in Aries, right? So it's like you're gonna put up or shut up. You feel me? And everything is tied into it. You know, the whole shebang. The whole shebang is tied into it. You know what I'm saying? You have nothing but fortune ahead of you if you get this shit right. And like I told you, you know, Big Mama been in an abusive relationship for 6,000 years with a nigga who she chose up on because you was checking him out and she followed your energy. She like, well, who's the new nigga on the block? You dressing like him? What the fuck is this about? And she got in a relationship only to be getting her ass beat for 6,000 years. She didn't know that he was an abuser, right? He pulled a fast one on her. But she done worked up enough strength to get out of that relationship, right? She's no longer a victim. And she might very well be looking for that old thing back. So you got a lot of work to do. Black man, Moorish man, melanated man, indigenous man, whatever you want to call yourself, nigga. Feel me? You got a lot of work to do. You got a lot of catching up to do. And you're not just gonna receive, you know, the keys to the estate. You know what I'm saying? You're not just getting this land back. You're not just getting this planet back. You very well gonna have the keys to the galaxy. Now, if that don't excite you, then again, I'm gonna save my commentary for some other shit. You know what I'm saying? What else is there to say? You know, you got a lot of work to do, but the reward is so amazing.
Facts.
And other than the work, what else is there to do, nigga? You still wanting to just wobble through existence just to motherfucking park your bones somewhere and say you made it? You got life in you, man. Like, take advantage of that shit. You feel me? There's so much to get right now. There's so many ways that you can close these gaps. You can get this shit right in this existence and qualify quantumly the past, present, and the future.
To this day. To this day.
Do you not know what's up for stakes? Right? You need us to come on every night and remind you, right, that the world is in upheaval. But what better time to bring order but in the midst of chaos?
That's the only time order is gonna come about.
That's the only time. This shit has to be what it is in order for you to be who you are.
Facts.
You feel me?
Can't avoid it.
Just don't fall into the traps. Like the shit that they trying to do right now. They lining people up for you to fall into silly traps.
Silly traps.
And that's the kiddie pool. Like, how you gonna drown in the kiddie pool? And there's some niggas that can prove.
Real quick, y'all, before I forget, to Saturday, all right, at 4:44 p.m. Eastern Standard Times, we will present to you the Law of 44, the War Report, on Blue Pillar. 4:44 p.m. Get the tickets at ktluuniversity.com. You'll be able to view the lecture right there on the website. You don't have to do anything but get your ticket and you will be good. Ticket holders, you will have access to the replay as well. All right.
And we got we got something. We have a special incentive for ticket holders, right? We got a special incentive that we're rolling out specifically for ticket holders, just to show you that not only are we appreciative um, of this gamble that you took to invest with us and to invest in your own consciousness, but there's also there's a gift that we have, just to express the way that we'll be going forward in the future with these presentation and these endeavors. I don't want to say too much right off the break, but there's an extra bonus gift for ticket holders. You're gonna be good for life. I'll leave it at that. And it's a full moon, so we'll be quantumly utilizing the power of quantum mind. What is quantum mind? When more than two minds come together on a collective agreement, on an understanding. You know what I'm saying? And we have been able to shift so many things. And we don't give ourselves enough credit or enough props for that. On April 4th of 2020, we had a global quantum meditation. And in the midst of C19, we was able to stop it dead in its tracks. And we got the receipts for that too. Right? So this, and we did the quantum meditations on Rich for the babies. First, we did it for the babies that got snatched up. The sister and brother that they two children got snatched. Right? I got them both back. Not too long after the meditation. Right? And then we did a global meditation to put covering and protection over these babies, over these children. Right? Did they not ease up off the babies?
Yeah, they backed up
Did they?
immediately.
I think so. Again, I'm not overselling this shit, man. Just not. Hopefully you tap in, family, and be a part of history. Cause after I share this, I'm not repeating this. You know what I'm saying? I gotta go somewhere and take a chill pill so I can make observations from a distance. Cause this stuff is borderline spooky at this point. Just how concise and precise it is, just how of an exact science the law of 44 is. The shit's scary. It's just spooking me out. Right? Because the cosmos is everything. I mean, everything in the universe is conscious. We already know that. But the way that it is communicating right now, when I'm saying that this is the war report, because we are in the age of war. And again, not to be scared or spooky, the only thing to me that war speaks to is the availability of transformational energy at all times. You have to make drastic changes, almost like changing form type
And,
shit.
yeah, and evolution. Because remember, things evolve during war times. The best example that I could give would be with world industrial revolutions that took place during the world wars.
Right. I mean, we're seeing again, if the global reset was the agenda, right, then we're seeing the engine that is fueling that particular agenda. Because I guess we'll go through it real quick, right? They said the global reset was about what?
Finances, money.
All right, but what's the dollar peg
Currency.
to? What's the dollar peg to?
Oh, petrodollar.
It's a petrodollar, right? So the global reset is about currency. It's about what currency is pegged to, right? Currency is pegged to fossil fuels because that's the current, right? You don't put money in your tank. You don't put money in your heater. You know what I'm saying? You put oil in it, and the money pays for the oil. That's why it's a petrodollar. It's an agreed upon currency globally to pay for oil, right? Which is carbon compressed, right? The same carbon that you got, but yet they up there talking about carbon footprints
and all of that carbon
global change, right? So the global reset is about energy, and the currency is pegged to whatever the energy is, right?
Right.
So there's two things they saying, yo, in order to go into the fourth industrial revolution, because the fourth industrial revolution is about what? Reparations for the planet, repairing the ecological damage that was done in the third industrial revolution,
Right.
powered by fossil fuels, right? Put into place by the American industrialists. So you're talking about J.P. Morgan, you're talking about Carnegie, you're talking about Rockefeller, right? You're talking about DuPont. So the same the same people who made the oil and the petroleum byproduct of the oil creates the pharmaceuticals. It's the same people that control the banks. It's the same people that control the media, right? But I get paid. I gotta wrestle niggas for dollars to come on screen to tell them that that's the same person. I mean, how's it even a conspiracy? It's the same people.
Right.
The same people that own big pharma. It's the same people that own big oil. It's the same people that own big media. And everything that's connected to it. It's the same people that own big banks.
Right.
So what are we even talking about? Right? So the people who made trillions of dollars off of fossil fuels, they're telling them you made 10 million. Let's say they made okay, let's say they say across 100 years, you guys made $10 trillion.
Right.
Right? They say you made $10 trillion off of fossil fuels, right? They said we're gonna show you how to make $100 trillion off of now eco-friendly, sustainable energy, right? What they call green energy or clean energy. So there's more money to be made now in cleaning the planet up.
Right.
And that is what's fueling the fourth industrial revolution. It's an eco-industrial, it's a green industrial revolution. But what they're telling trillionaires is that we're not going to break you by shifting paradigms too soon. It's going to be a gradual build out. We got a 10, 20-year plan for that. They call it, I guess, the 2030 agenda and all of that stuff, right? And we're going to gradually shift so you guys don't break because you're too big to move at a rapid pace. It's like government. It's like Meta, right? They too big.
Right.
When you get too big and too clumsy, it's like government, right?
You can't pivot that easy.
So you can't pivot that easy. So it's the same thing that all of these institutions are going through. Government is being challenged by its sons and its daughters, right? They punching them in on this side and running, punching them on that side, punching them on this side, right? They like, you can't keep up. You're too big. You're too old. And then everything else is getting punched up. And they're promising their people that they're not going to move at the speed of light in the electrified age, right?
Right.
But then here we come along as disruptors to be like, nah, we could do that shit overnight. Fuck they talking about? We ain't going to take time like they taking time because the only thing that they still see is a dollar. So now you have a war that qualifies both things, right? They got oil and they got wheat. So the whole eco-sustainable movement is about what? Being gluten-free and utilizing electric cars.
Electric energy.
Right? And the people can't see the play from a mile away.
Right. They phasing it out right now before your eyes.
So, so this war now introduces a permanent solidified use case for crypto, right?
Yeah.
So
It's called a
cryptocurrency now
war.
becomes the currency in war times, right? There will never be peace times again until there's a whole new paradigm. There won't be.
Right.
I keep telling
There's
you, you're
never,
just one incident away. Just one.
and that would be, yeah. And
If the nigga on the train last night, yesterday was Russian, nigga, you in it already.
because that area for people
That
that,
Sunset Park is all
right,
Russians.
that's the Russians in Sunset Park. If you don't know that area, that's the Ukrainians and the Russians dead smack right there with Puerto Ricans and Mexicans, right in Sunset Park, right where that thing went off. So yeah, like you keep like
So
I said and you said, there's only
yeah,
one provocation away.
it hangs in a fragile balance at any and at all times, right? I seen a video earlier. Your president is a pedo,
That was
right?
the name of the video.
Huh?
That was the name of the video.
Nah, somebody showed me some footage from Hunter's laptop. I don't even know you're supposed to be talking about that online. Shit,
Oh man.
shit, full.
Yeah, that's Patreon talk. We can't
Yeah,
do that right here. That's KTL University lecture
I
talk.
seen your president butt ass. Can't unsee that.
Don't say that.
I'm
Don't
sorry.
say that. Hold on.
Can't unsee that. Hold on, let me spray some.
Oh man.
Cleansing the screen. Forget that I
You know
said that.
that Hunter. Smoking on some Hunter.
Yeah, yeah. So the world is crazy, son. It's about to go down. Don't let them tell you no different. Feel me?
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, I could go through some things that we've observed. I could go through some things that we did. I could go through some buttons that we pushed. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna bring it all together because I can only go into it in fragments here. But you want me to talk my shit? Would you want to talk my shit?
I mean, yeah, stay in your bag. Stay in your Birkin.
Like I said, man, shout out to Keebalon. It's a few other people, you know what I'm saying? And everybody else is students. Because these are people that are making real time calls, right? Real time observations. If you cannot tell the universe what to do right now and show me a receipt in less than 24 hours, then you a little homie. Like you should be taking notes, right? Because the whole point of this shit at the end of the day is to show you that the universe is programmable, right? In
Right.
a very verifiable way with no hyperbole. And your failure to believe so means that whatever I'm telling you, you might be doubting me. So you really don't believe in yourself. Because the believers are going to be like, oh, I'll show me. Like, or you know, again, you know what I'm saying? Show me how to fish. Don't just give me one. I wanna do it myself.
Right.
Let me prove this to myself. You know what I'm saying? Let me get out here and have an intimate relationship with the universe. Right? You want to watch somebody getting busy? Like you that type, you a voyeur? You want to pull up and get some popcorn and watch a nigga getting late?
People tell
Or you want to get in there yourself? Huh? I would hope that you would want to get in there yourself, my nigga.
that's what he said. Let me drive the boat. Hey, Joe Byron. Take me to dinner. Hey, yo. Hey, Joe Byron. Take me to dinner. Hey, Joe Byron.
So you know, it's a beautiful time. Nonetheless, regardless of what's going on, there are cosmic transformational changes that are real, that are taking place, and you know, don't focus on the distractions so much so that you miss out on all of the benefactions. You know what I'm saying? Don't miss out on the benefactions of, you know, real change, real cosmic change that's taking place. You know, because you can literally wake up and this shit just be a different world. I'm seeing it. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing it. Like I'm waking up and things are already moved permanently. I was like, that quick? It could be that quick, yo. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So yeah, but it, you know, in people's mentality where their minds at, you know what I'm saying? That's the part I guess that really, you know, it's what's gonna matter the most at the end of the day, because all of this shit is a projection. So the more minds that we're able to turn the lights on and for them to see this thing for what it is, then the illusion falls. You know, reality comes to the forefront, or the truth for that matter, because it always exists, it's always here, even if it's, you know, just covered over by some leaves or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's here. You know what I mean? It's for real, for real. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of information. A lot of information. But it's all gonna hit. It's all gonna be heavyweight, heavyweight. It's light, but it's still heavyweight. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When I'm saying heavyweight, it's not like, oh, it's gonna be so cerebral that you don't get it. It's just heavyweight in terms of the implications of what it's pointing to and how clear it is. So I don't give people wiggle room in my lectures, if you understand, right? I'm gonna put you in a box within a box within a box within a box within a box. It's gonna be very hard to wiggle out of that. So we gonna go there. You know what I mean? But also the tagline of this is how to find peace in the midst of war.
Right.
So it's gonna be solution based. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going in this thing to again to beat the drums of doom and gloom and to scare you to death. I want you to win. You know what I'm saying? I definitely want you to win. But we have to be intentional about that. You know what I'm saying? And everything that you do right now is setting you up for the future. So you got to be so intentional that you can't put things off for tomorrow. It's like it's now or never. Either you're gonna get this shit now or you just not gonna get it. You're gonna get got. It's as simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like 1 o'clock. I don't want to keep you too long. I gotta get back to this.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just throw this flyer up real quick to remind the family that the lecture that's coming up on Saturday at 4:44 p.m. is what Blue Pillar's been talking about all night. You could go and get your tickets at ktluniversity.com. Shout out to everybody that's been getting the tickets while we've been on this broadcast. I
Shout out to
appreciate
y'all.
y'all. www.ktluniversity.com. All right. Just go there and click on the flyer, the same flyer that you see on the screen, and they'll take you there. But yeah, we've been rocking out for about 2 hours, almost on the 2 hour mark, man. I appreciate everything that you've delivered tonight, everything you shared with us, all of the, just all of the points that you were making. And based
Yeah,
off,
yeah. Like I said, yo, I got it. I got it. I just I can't do it on not the tube. I can't. You know what I'm saying? Ugh. Drag that. Drag that.
right,
Candy man. Wish me a dog.
right.
Right. I know what they doing.
Yeah, we got to talk. We got when we on the tube, we got to talk about Chris Rock and Will Smith. It got like about one more week left in it. You know what I mean? You could, that's safe to talk about. Everything else is controversial.
All right. You know. Yeah. It's some real things taking place right now, but don't be distracted. Transformation is really the order of the day, and that's the most powerful thing taking place. The solar flares is no joke.
Yo, hold on a minute. Supernova in the building. Hold on.
Okay.
Van Lay, you keeping me alive during Ramadan. I'm just trying to keep it 100 with you. The Super Mega Greens is keeping Red Pill alive during Ramadan. You help it make sense. I put that in my shake. I put that protein.
Yes.
That's about the only thing that's really holding me down. So salute to the God. I mean,
right. As we spoke about them solar flares, that's them supernova blasts.
and as we
You know
spoke
what I'm
about
saying?
transformation, right? And you know, just building temple up. The God pops up.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
So yeah, and I wanna give him a shameless plug. He has a king circle, right? He has a men's circle. Again, like I said, this thing is not gonna get where it needs to go unless we deal with serious character development. And in particular, as the brothers, we have been programmed very wrong. Our acculturation in this country has put us at a detrimental position because again, they have somehow, you know, programmed us to turn against her,
right.
right? Through society, through the way the culture is pretty much been framed and referenced. Yes, man, heal thyself. So in order to build character, in order to get our brothers back to that level of divine masculinity where they're in purpose and on purpose, you know what I'm saying? We really need to unlearn to relearn. So tap in with Supernova Islam, man. Heal thyself. You know, I have been privy to peep some sessions, some clips, some portions of the sessions. You know what I'm saying? So it has been all the way up, you know,
Beautiful.
from what I can discern and ascertain, and I will definitely be looking towards the next session myself. But family, yes, tap in with the good brother.
Indeed. Shout out to Supernova. Shout out to Queen of Four, the whole
Yes.
family.
Shout out to Ali. Yes, the whole family.
Ali. Yes, yes, indeed. Um, but yeah, man, I think we're gonna wrap it up. You know what I'm talking about? We did a beautiful show, you know. We will be back on Melanin Monday. We will be back on Mondays, inshallah, for Melanin Mondays. So if you're in the building, make sure that you pull up, tell a friend to tell a friend. On the 30th, we're gonna have another one with BLUEPILLAR44, the illustrious illumination. That's gonna be a movie. We have the book club that we're about to launch. You know what I mean? That one is gonna be powerful as well. So just stay tuned.
Yes. And me and Akibalon will be making an announcement very soon about the combos with the Cosmos.
The book of the
The
year right there.
yeah, it will be the Conscious Bible. Me and the brother, we knocked that book out the end of 2020. So it's been a minute. No, we definitely made a
Some
we made
Adam.
additions. Yeah. We didn't finish it until last because after DMX transitioned,
That was
and
about a year ago exactly.
yeah, his anniversary is coming up. We need to acknowledge
It came up
dog.
last
His
year.
his death anniversary it
Right.
came up on the 9th, but his burial was on the 22nd, and that was
Okay.
very monumental. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Good. You good. You good. The brother was good. He had to go and come back. Oh yeah. Shout out to Think Champs. Shout out to Think Champs. Supernova, when you in Atlanta, you gotta pull up to Think Champs. They got the Think Champs popping. That's gonna be big. You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about?
His burial on the 22nd coincided with them opening up the Valley of the Kings,
Right.
right?
Right. It came in.
His when he went into the coma, when he collapsed into the coma, it was on April 3rd, which was the anniversary or the unveiling of when they moved 27 quote unquote mummies, right? They brought them from the underworld, from Menta, they brought them above ground, and they had a procession through the streets of Kemet where they moved them now to the Royal Museum. Now the dog, Anoop Ampu, went under in a coma, right? That's a catacomic state is when you go under, you're in your, your subconscious realm, right? So he went under and they took the mummies and brought them over. And then the day that they interned him into the ground, which was the 22nd, that's when I think the Valley of the Kings, they found 22 I gotta revisit the narrative. It's in the book.
Make sure that's in your
Yeah,
lecture.
it lines up perfectly. You know what I'm saying? And again, we have to lend our consciousness to narratives like this because there's nowhere else on the planet that they're telling it like that. You feel me? But it's very, you can observe it, and if it makes sense to you, then you know what I mean. It makes all the sense.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I know how heavy dog energy was all last year.
Mm-hmm.
I know how heavy it was. You know what I'm saying? I observed it. We kept notes. You feel me?
Right.
Yeah. So this year is the fox energy.
To the fox.
Yeah. Shout out to the fox.
Yeah, man. But once again, beautiful build, beautiful build. I look forward to what you'll be delivering on Saturday. I'm excited about that. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have my pen and pad ready to soak up some information. I'm enthusiastic and divinely inspired to, I'm gonna do a presentation, I believe in May, with the fantasy industry. Going deep into the whole power of fantasy, and what it is that we can do to take our ideas, our concepts, and our imagination and tap into this trillion-dollar industry, this multi-trillion-dollar energy where programming coincidentally is taking place, right? Through cartoons, through video games, through movies, through books, through comics, through toys, all things fantasy. So it's time to take some of these concepts and create and consecrate and create characters and pull them from other realms of our imagination, and bring them down into this 2D reality or this third dimension and make them things do what they do. The same way that people have summoned the Teletubbies, you know what I mean? The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, all of those are creations. Those are all ideas from the endless pool of the imagination that we pull from. That part. But yes, sir, Blue, if you have anything that you want to leave the people with, please feel free to do it now.
Of course, goldwater.com, GOLDEWATER. Yes, goldwater.com. Get your gold water, get your pure Moors. Feel me? Get that silver bullet. Fortify yourself.
Fortify.
All right. Make sure that you got your armor and your protection. CosmicDust.com, CosmicDust.com. You can get some drip over there. Look, got a whole lot of it too. All right. Got that drip.
Look, that dripping tin.
Got that drip on deck. All right.
Dripping tin.
Go. Go get you some. Right.
You ain't got the answers, man.
Cosmic drip. Drip, drip, drip. Right.
That's fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Drip. Hey.
That NFT drip. Yeah.
I feel wet. Right there.
What?
I said that's drippy right there.
Okay. So you said you trying to cop stuff. You said what? Okay. Yeah. But that's what's going on. Feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Over and out. Holla back. Holla at your boy. Yeah. That part.
I'm gonna deport you back to Harlem jail, son. That's
What?
I'm gonna let you get a pass because the shit is blue. Shout out to Jefferson in the building. I'm gonna let you get a pass because it's blue, so we're gonna let you live. Yeah, don't do that again. All right, but yeah, man.
Yeah. Shout out to Now Meta. Shout out to the Netaverse Discord. You know, if you're not already in the Netaverse Discord, you definitely want to get in there to get some of the updates. And then we have collaborative partners again. So I'm gonna come back and share with y'all some of this information about that KOD coin.
KOD coin.
Yeah. And you know, I can help you make it make sense. You know, when we speak about volatility, when we speak about coin market caps, when we speak about, you know, a particular asset that has legs, that's going to be driven by an industry that's very active,
Very liquid,
and very cash fluid. You know, these are the type of engines that are kind of perfect to push you know, this type of asset. So we're gonna talk about it.
definitely. All right. So once again, fam, I want to thank everybody for pulling up tonight, holding space with us. Your attendance was definitely appreciated. Make sure y'all leave a tip at the table before y'all get up from this food, this fresh plate right there. Cash apps, money sign stream chasers with a Z, money sign BLUEPILLAR44. And you already know what it is to get the tickets for the upcoming lecture, KTLUniversity.com. With that being said, peace, love, and light. Stay dangerous.